That's because I only know 3 words right now. So in the next 8 years, I'm going to have to improve. There's a movie called What About Bob? And Bill Murray, he's the funny guy in the movie, but Richard Dreyfuss, he's a psychiatrist. He's trying to go out on a vacation with his family, and Bob won't leave him alone. And eventually, he has a T-shirt on, and he's standing on their deck. He's looking through the screen door, and it says, "Don't hassle me, I'm local." You know. So after I have my TRC, I can get that T-shirt, say, "Don't hassle me, I'm local." You know, I feel like I'm almost a Vietnamese. Even though I can only say 3 words. Today we'd like to talk a little bit about the tourist visa in this video. So we're going to talk just a few minutes. We're here in the park, and then in 3 or 4 minutes, then I've got a screen recording of the computer where we're going through the tourist visa application.
Yeah.
So I think I came here first on a tourist visa, right?
Yeah.
How many times was I here on the tourist?
when I knew you, just the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we first met, I came on the tourist visa, and I had a 90-day visa. So the first time I came to Vietnam in 2022, all I could get was the 30-day visa. So now the visas are for 90 days. But now you have the option of selecting the single entry or the multiple entry, which is kind of nice for people that are wanting to travel around Southeast Asia, maybe come in and out of the country.
Yeah.
I guess our goal right now in the next few months is to get a temporary resident card for me.
Yeah.
Now, I would assume that if you're watching this video, most people are probably coming to Vietnam as a tourist.
Yeah.
Most people would be as a tourist. But if you are looking to try to stay long-term, or possibly work here, or if you are looking at marrying a Vietnamese man or woman, then you would be eligible for a visa exemption or a TRC. So let's just take those maybe one at a time. So the first, as I said, most people are going to come on a tourist visa.
Oh yeah, most people come here to tourism.
Right, tourism, because that would be the only qualification they would have to enter Vietnam.
Yeah.
Some countries are visa free, but of course with Vietnam you have to have a visa to enter the country.
Yeah.
So yeah, again here in a few minutes we'll show the website, the correct website to go to, and some specific things in the form that we feel would be important for you to know how to fill that out.
Yeah.
So, and you do have the option again as a single entry or a multiple entry. One of them is $25 and the multiple entry is $50. So it's not too bad of a difference, and it might offer you some flexibility.
Yeah.
So Yin, in our case, once I was here on the tourist visa, we got married while I was on the tourist visa. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what did we do next for my paperwork after the tourist visa?
Yeah. After tourist visa, you have 2 options. Yeah. Option 1, you can apply for visa exemption. Yeah. Option 2, you can apply for TRC. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and a different document, the paper, to submit to government.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once we were married, then I had, as you said, the 2 options.
Yeah.
And one was a visa exemption. Now, how long is the visa exemption good for? How long could I stay with the visa exemption?
Yeah, visa exemption allow you live in Vietnam 6 months for each time.
6 months at a time.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the length of visa 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, and easy to apply than the TRC.
Okay, so it's an easier paperwork process to get the visa exemption. So yeah, after we were married, then we submitted our marriage certificate, I think my passport copies, maybe your Vietnamese,
my ID.
Your ID.
Yeah.
And then they gave me a little book, a visa exemption book. It kind of looks like a little passport.
Oh yeah.
With my photo and the official Vietnamese book.
Yes, like the
Yeah.
passport.
But with that, as Yin said, that the visa exemption is good for 5 years, but you can only stay for 6 months, and then you have to do a border run or pay an additional fee through a service provider
Yeah.
to extend
Yeah.
your time in country.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'm currently here in Vietnam on right now is a visa exemption, and I've got a stamp in the little book when I
Yeah.
entered this last time.
Yeah.
And it really felt nice, because when I went back to the U.S. the last time, I told Yin I really want to get this visa exemption ready and finished because
Yeah.
number one, I want the guarantee that I can come back in.
Yeah.
I mean, usually the tourist visa isn't any problem
Yeah.
to get back in, but being that we were married now, I didn't want any
Yeah.
chance of,
Yeah.
well, you're going to be rejected, and so number one, the visa exemption was a guarantee that I could enter back in. And I think also psychologically, it just kind of made me feel closer to you.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I wasn't a
yeah.
tourist anymore. I was
Guarantee for
closer
you.
to a Vietnamese.
Yeah.
So that was the second step, and now the third step we're working on. Well, before we say that, what was the reason why we couldn't do the TRC first? There was
Yeah.
something about our apartment, right?
Yeah, because TRC they require you and me just live the same address, the same apartment. Yeah, and we need the paper from the police government, the police office. Yeah.
The police.
Police.
Okay.
Yeah. They confirm we live together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now we have the paper ready to apply TRC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just a little bit more explanation on that. The TRC is what we wanted, but when I first came and I was here on the 3-month tourist visa, I had an apartment which was a short-term lease. It was just a short-term 1 or 2 or 3 months, and I was the only name on the contract. We were not married yet.
Yeah.
After we got married,
Yeah.
then we went into another apartment together,
Yeah.
but we were only there for 1 month,
Yeah.
and it was still a short-term lease. So with the TRC, you have to have the long-term lease,
Oh, yeah.
and you have to have both names on the apartment. So really, the apartment was kind of the big issue, right? Why I couldn't get the TRC before, but
Yeah.
okay. So now we're in the same apartment. We have a long-term lease, and you have submitted paperwork now to the police station to
Yeah.
verify the address where we are living.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what will happen next with the police? Are we supposed to get that paperwork maybe next week or 2 weeks? What will happen with that?
Yes, it depends the paper from the police office. Yeah, I hope the next week we have all document.
Okay.
Yeah, to submit.
And that could take, when a person submits that to the police station, that could take 1 or 2 months perhaps, but I think in our case it might just be 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
what we're
Yeah,
kind of guessing.
It depends on the key.
Okay.
Yeah, so the paper ready and easy to clear. Yeah.
Easy to clear. They know we're not troublemakers,
yeah.
so we just get the paper from the police, and then after that, now we're going to use a visa agent, right?
yeah,
now,
I think so.
Yin in her occupation knows a lot about visa paperwork, but in our case, we're going to have someone give us a little help on the TRC,
yeah,
right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need the agency help us. Yeah,
Yeah.
to process quickly.
Yeah, we're both the type of people that we can get into forms and paperwork, and we're fairly good at that.
Yeah.
But I think with this, we really don't want maybe the stress or the aggravation, and we want to pay just a little extra to make sure that's done. Oh, we got a bicycle coming through here. Okay. So, yeah, gonna apply for that hopefully in the next couple weeks. And then, so explain a little bit more about the TRC. Let's talk about why would that be a good thing for me to have, and what are some of the benefits of that. The visa exemption was good for 5 years, and I could stay up to 6 months at a time. how does that compare to the TRC?
TRC, you can stay here for 2 years or 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 or 3 years. I think we're going to apply for the 3.
Yeah.
If people are coming on a work contract and on a business invitation, I believe they can get 2 years on an employment.
Yeah, if they have a job in Vietnam and apply for TRC,
Okay.
yeah, they have TRC for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like the idea of 3 year.
I think it's 3 years for you. I hope so.
And then so the TRC would be good for 3 years, at which time it is our understanding after the 3 years, then I could apply for a resident card. So this would be a temporary resident.
Yeah.
And after the 3 years, we could apply for a 5-year resident.
Yeah.
So there's actually kind of one more step up
Yeah.
for this. Because this is kind of similar to the U.S. immigration system. So if someone in the U.S. Marries a foreign citizen and then they apply for them to immigrate into the U.S., if they've been married for less than 2 years, the U.S. government will give a 2-year as a temporary green card. So the TRC in Vietnam is kind of like the equivalent of a green card.
Yeah.
And here it's on a temporary basis, just like the U.S. And then after you're in country for 2 years, then you can apply for the permanent green card.
Yeah.
They're kind of a similar
Yeah.
a similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, cost-wise, I think the visa exemption, and we don't have the exact number because the fees fluctuate a little bit, and then if you use a service provider, depending on what company you use, they might charge different fees for their service. But I think the visa exemption for us was maybe around $200 US.
Yeah.
If I recall, we gave about maybe 5 million total for the whole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the TRC will be maybe just a little bit more.
A little bit more.
A little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Because with the TRC, good for 3 years, I wouldn't have to leave the country if I didn't want to. Now our plan is to, hopefully your visa will be okay. You can come back and visit the U.S. at Christmas time. But, I wouldn't, under the TRC, I wouldn't have to leave Vietnam unless we just wanted to.
Yeah.
Versus the visa exemption, every 6 months you have to do something.
Yeah.
So it's in the long run, it would definitely be cheaper.
Yeah, and maybe after 8 years you live here.
Okay, 8 years.
8 years if you want to become a Vietnamese citizen.
Okay. Yeah, so there is a pathway under the TRC resident card system to actually obtain a Vietnamese passport. Now I hope there's not a big Vietnamese test, a language test, because I only know 3 words right now. So in the next 8 years, I'm going to have to improve. She's my translator.
Okay, I have you.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, maybe about your own personal stories with either maybe issues or stories about your tourist visa or a visa exemption or maybe even the TRC process, we'd be happy to hear about that. We certainly don't, we're still learning ourselves, so we don't have all the answers, but if you do have questions or maybe some comments, just leave those below, and we try to read all the comments, don't we, for the most part?
Yeah.
Try to. Most of the comments are very, very nice, and that we appreciate the support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope to receive a lot of comments.
Yeah.
And we try to,
Yeah, you enjoy the comments, don't you? You don't always reply to all of them, but I know you tell me about some of them. It's really good. Well, what do you think, Yen? Anything else we could tell the viewers here about maybe my stay or the tourist visa? Just a couple things, and we'll mention this later on the screen record on the video. But just want to re-emphasize this: when you apply for the tourist visa, make sure you're using the passport information that you're going to enter the country with. That may sound kind of oversimplified, but for some, if your passport is near expiration, or maybe you're getting a new passport. If you get a new passport, that number is going to change. So make sure if you have an older passport right now, do not apply for the tourist visa until you get your new passport with a new passport number, because when you come through immigration at the Vietnam port, they're going to want those numbers to match, obviously. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, in Vietnam, the dates are always written, the day, the month, and the year. Well, as it is in a lot of places in the world. If you're coming from the U.S., where I'm from, we always use the month, the day, and the year. Yeah, the month, and they're backwards. So when you're filling out Vietnamese forms, make sure you put, for example, my family is coming in March. Well, if you're coming on March the 9th, or let's say March the 12th, if you put those two backwards and you don't put 3, 12, 20, 25, they might mistake, oh, they're coming in December. Well, no, they're coming in March, but it's the 12th day, right? So just make sure you get the dates right on the form. And okay, I guess we could play that video now. Yeah. And then we'll come back here in just a couple minutes and close. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think
Yen said she didn't want to talk too much. So that's why I'm doing all the talking. I'm not trying to be rude.
No, you have me.
I'm helping? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to comment about those things before we go to the video?
Yeah. So right now we are busy for our wedding. Yeah. We a few weeks. And we try to make video, yeah, and
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
yeah. We've got a lot of good videos coming up with our families coming soon, and that's going to be a really special time. I was just thinking earlier this morning, Yen, how special it is. You know, you and I, we met and then get married and then plan this wedding celebration, and now we have family and friends coming from overseas. Wow. It's just it's amazing how all of this has come together. Yeah. And I'm really thankful for you.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you, dear. So yeah, guys, we're really looking forward to family and friends coming here shortly, and we'll be posting about that. All right, let's go to the screen share, and I'll show you a little bit about the tourist visa application.
Yeah.
If you type in Vietnam tourist visa, obviously you get a lot of different choices, but you want to make sure you're going to the official Vietnam National Electronic Visa System. So that's evisa.gov.vn. Just make sure you're going on that. There's a lot of other people, you know, wanting to give their services, but it's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you go to the Immigration Department website. Then obviously you've got the choice for language, Vietnamese or English. And once you are on the English site, this says for foreigners outside of Vietnam filing for an e-visa personally. So this is for foreigners outside of Vietnam. You used to be able to reapply in country. But now it's just a 3-step process. Fill out the application, complete the payment. Yeah, because they're not going to let you, you know, you might be able to fill out the application and some people think they're finished, but not until that complete payment is finished will you then receive the e-visa online, and generally 3 to 4 days after application. So just want to take a quick look at a couple things on the application. It really is pretty straightforward, but just want to go over through a couple items on this. For starters, the e-visa is for a maximum of 90 days, and you can apply for the single or multiple entry. There is again, make sure you complete the payment portion of the application, the non-refundable payment, because if you don't, it will not get processed. $25 for the single and $50 for the multiple entry. So it really depends on your travel plans, what you plan to do. And then you will have to list the exit and entry and exit, which border you're coming into, depending on what airport you most likely will be flying into. Yeah, so just hit the apply now, and then they have some different instructions and items here they want you to make sure you're aware of. And then they show the list of entry points, the different points of entry into the country. So if you're coming into Saigon, you would choose that. If you're coming into Hanoi, choose that. And then they want you to click on these confirmation buttons, make sure you read everything. But up in this area, here's a list of some of the air border gates. You might even be coming into Cam Ranh or Da Nang, Noi Boi, or Natsun. Just make sure you click the appropriate airport you'll be flying into. Yeah, so once you hit start the application, you will come to this page and you'll see that you're going to have to upload a couple files. These are things you might have to prepare ahead of time, but you want basically the headshot of your passport photo and the ID page of your passport. So if you don't have that passport photo in digital form, you might have to retake a selfie. There's also some apps you can download for free for passport photos, and you'll upload that. It also says it's a maximum of 2 megabytes. Talked to a person just a few weeks ago, and they were having some trouble on this page, but it was because their headshot photo was too large. So just follow the basic passport photo instructions. The personal information is really, again, pretty straightforward. Put your nationality in on the identity card. You will put, like if you're a U.S. citizen, you would put your U.S. passport. Agree to create account by email. You will get updates on the status of your application through that email address. Just a couple basic questions here. Have you ever used any other passports? You have multiple nationalities, or have you been in violation? Hopefully all those are not a problem for you. Again, single or multiple entry, you'll have to choose that depending on your travel plans. And then what dates will you be entering and exiting? What are your plans? Again, with the Vietnamese dates, make sure that you have the date first, the month second, and the year third. Day, month, and year. So, then passport issuing authority and the type, most are going to be just normal, regular passports. But yeah, just another comment on that. Just make sure those dates are correct, because March 9th could be construed as September 3rd if you get those backwards. Contact information, emergency, occupation, information about the trip. Again, purpose of entry for most of us, that would probably be tourism. Where's your residential address in Vietnam? For this, you can list your hotel. And again, your gate of entry, gate of exit. And then on that second line, the district and the ward, once you put your city in where your hotel or your residence is, then you might have to Google those two things to be able to fill that in. And just a couple other questions, or any children accompanying you, etc. And then anticipated expenses, and are they being paid by you or who? And did you buy any insurance? A lot of this is just for Vietnamese tourism records. Again, this is pretty basic. I had some family members that needed to put down my address here, as if you say you're visiting a relative or you're visiting a place of business, they're going to ask you some more questions, such as what's the address, maybe some information about that individual, and a contact number for that person. Okay, well, there you have just some real quick information from the Vietnamese government tourist application website. So again, if you have any questions, that was very brief, I know. If you have any questions, leave a comment for us, and we'll try to figure out an answer if you have any issues with that. Okay?
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for watching our video.